All right, well, I'm good. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Screen
So
to
yes.
share. Open this up. Can you all see this? See the
Yes,
screen
I
there?
can see it.
Okay. Well, I'm Jim Stone, department head here in Civil and Environmental here in Rapid City, South Dakota. So it's we're closing up our fall semester. It's been a lot better than last fall, I'd have to say, without all the COVID challenges. Although it's been wonderful, I guess, to see all the students here in person. So I want to spend this time just kind of giving some updates of what's going on in our department, and got some students as well that'll be here to kind of give some updates of what's going on with the student activities here in our department. So this is who we are. I got to update this a little bit, but I got some folks that are here. This is we've got Tao Ye is a new environmental hire that's not on this this sheet right here. He's my replacement in environmental engineering. And then Ellen Hafner retired just recently along with Cliff Beanert. And we have Mark Van Vleck as a replacement in the CM program. And we've got John Mason and Kim Ingleston as our administrative assistants in our department. So it's, but yeah, a lot of these faces look like we've all aged a little bit in some of these, looking at Brett Lingwall and some others, and I guess myself as well. So, but that's who we are here. So wanted to start off, I guess, to do some departmental updates as to what we have, or excuse me, student updates to find out from a student perspective what the different projects and things that they're working on. I think that would be the things of most interest for a lot of you. So let's see, can you guys share who wants to go first there that's in our group?
Yeah, sure. So we're all kind of on the same computer here, but we'll start sharing about Concrete Canoe first. I'll pull up that slideshow.
So yeah, see if you can share your screen there. Let me stop share mine. We're all really proficient at Zoom, by the way. So do you have access to share yours?
Yes, I think that
There
works.
we go. Sweet. It's working.
Oh, well, I guess this is Bridge, but here, your canoe's right over here, somewhere over here. So we're Concrete Canoe. I'm Alec Colgan. This is Antonio Candelaria. We're the co-captains of Concrete Canoe this year, working on hull design and mixed design. This is our new logo we came out with this year, which the school came up with for us. We like it a lot. So it's just kind of getting used to some new stuff. This is our trailer in last year's canoe, called Camus. It's a cow-themed canoe, and never made it to competition, but it floats very nicely. We've taken it out to the lake multiple times this fall, and it's a good time with getting some freshman involvement. This is some pictures from one picture from our lake day we had.
But yeah, I'm Antonio. I'm the current captain of Concrete Canoe. Just a bit of updates. We're all signed up to go to regionals this year, which we're really excited about since we haven't been able to compete the last 2 years due to COVID restrictions. So we're really excited to be able to go out this year and actually be able to compete. We've had really good success with just like student involvement. We've had some exciting freshmen show up and have been helping us out. So we're really happy with that, since getting members has been really difficult over the last few years as well with COVID. But this has been a really good growth year for us. This year's theme for our canoe is actually wolf themed. The name we're going with is Howler. And we're very excited about that. We're just actually wrapping up our mix design. So we have a finalized mix going forward that we're going to use for designing to make our canoe. And we're also working with Gage Brothers just now to get our mold design done. So that's going to get sent out like this upcoming week. We'll get a whole mold back from them next semester, and we're going to start on our pour day. And we're really excited about that.
Here's a picture from pour day last year, and we have our lab all cleaned out now and ready to go for the spring semester for the next pour day. So that'll be a lot of preparation for that, but it'll be good.
But yeah, that's all the general updates for canoe. We're going strong this year, and we're excited for regionals. Everything's going well on our end.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll jump into Steel Bridge next.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So here's kind of a
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Newman, and I am the captain of the Steel Bridge team this year. We work very closely with Canoe and ASCE, so it's really exciting that all of us get to be, just in this little office together. It works very well because we're all friends. So the first thing about Steel Bridge is it's kind of a 5-step process and you break it down. So the first step is getting our rule packet at the beginning of the year. And then step 2, designing the bridge. Step 3 is fabricating the bridge. And then build practice is the 4th step. And the last and final step is, of course, competing. This semester, we have gotten through steps 1 and 2. We have the bridge all designed and ready to go for next year. The picture that I have there is of last year's bridge. But we have all of our steel ordered and we're ready to start fabrication right away when spring semester starts. We're very excited that we actually do get to travel to competition as well. As the Concrete Canoe team said, we'll be going down to the Colorado School of Mines and competing there with them, which is very exciting. Like the Concrete Canoe team, we also have a very large and strong team this year, which is exciting considering, of course, COVID the last couple of years. So it's very cool to have a lot of success in recruiting new members. And I guess who we are as a team, we have people of every major age, grade level, anything like that, with no experience necessary. We have a team of officers, student advisor, and a faculty advisor, as well as our general members. And we host fun events through the year, as well as helping Concrete Canoe with their pour day. We're a very fun-loving team who just does a lot of things together and really works on teamwork. So yeah, I think that's all I have for an update on how Bridge is doing, but I think I'm going to hand it off to Sam. Sam does not have a slideshow, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Okay, then I'll hand it off to Sam.
That works. So my name is Samantha Heiberg. I am currently the president of the American Society of Civil Engineers student chapter here on campus. So what we do is we are the professional organization for civil engineers. It's not just students. There are chapters all over, but specifically here at Mines, we do a lot of professional development activities. So we've been very excited to get some good speakers in this past semester. And then as well as we do outreach projects and community work. So right now, 2 of our big ones are we're helping a local Native American tribe with some building a fireplace for some ritualistic healing that they want to do, as well as the Youth and Family Services Garden Center is working on an aquaponics system that we're going to help them restore and rebuild. So we're really excited for those projects. We have some good freshman turnout as well this year. We have about 4 or 5 that have stuck around, which is pretty good. And we also will be going to regionals in Colorado in April as well. Our competitions are, there's 2 different papers to write. There's a technical paper, a non-technical paper, as well as some different design competitions. And that's all I have.
That's good. How about the attendees? Any questions for the students that are here that about their competitions and things they're working on? Sounds like my Zoom class sometimes. Yeah, so that's good. Well, if you definitely you could go through me or others if you wanted to learn more. And those of you that are maybe down in the Denver area, maybe come check them out when they're down at the Colorado School of Mines. Is it April? Is that when it is? Yeah, so it'd be down in April, but I think that'd be wonderful to get some local support. Oops, I think you're on mute.
We were just saying we might have our competition the 8th and 9th of April this next spring.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, those of you that are on this that want to learn more, just come talk to me or look on the websites and get some updates on there. Are there ways? Are you all on social media as well? Do you have what's the way? Maybe let the folks know how they can get follow you folks.
So all of us do have different Facebook accounts. So you should be able to find us on Facebook just by looking at South Dakota Mines Concrete Canoe Team, South Dakota Mines Steel Bridge Team, and South Dakota Mines ASCE.
I think it's the full name of American Society of Civil Engineers.
Yeah, so you should be able to find us on Facebook, and we do update those pretty regularly, just letting people know what we're doing, what we're up to. So definitely follow us on Facebook.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. Well, let's find out what's going on with civil now. So let's see here if I can go back to my screen share. So share this. Okay. So again, I think all of you are alum of this, of the program and whatnot, but our strengths are what we do here in civil is mainly environmental engineering, water resources engineering, geotechnical engineering, and structural engineering. And we're looking to bring on a new faculty member in transportation engineering in the next academic year. So that we're looking to have somebody, especially with the new infrastructure stimulus that just came through with the current administration and just all the construction projects. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but here in Rapid City, things are just booming with all the type of construction infrastructure work that's going on in transportation. And so we're looking to bring on board a person there to kind of work with, with our DOT and other areas to look at those opportunities that are there. So let's go see here. Next slide. Something freezed up here. All right, there we go. So we're still, and I think this is quite obvious, we're definitely number one for the best value, number two for the most focused civil program in the nation by College Factual and many other entities as well. And we're a small campus. When I get prospective students that come on board, they generally ask, so tell me about mines. And I went to a really big school for my undergraduate degree, and it's like taking the engineering college and putting out its own campus. But you all know that you're a product of this place. Job placement has been unbelievable for our students. I'm getting emails on a daily basis looking for, current grads, recent grads, internship opportunities. I think we're about 96, 97. I think it's even beyond that now for job placement for our recent graduates. Most of our students are doing internships. We do have a meet and greet that we do during the career fairs in the fall and the spring semester. We actually have it at Hay Camp, and we actually take over the entire building. We'll this spring in February, we're going to combine it with mechanical. And so all the companies that come in and meet our students, we allow freshmen all the way to PhD students to come talk to the employers and have an opportunity to kind of hobnob before the actual interviews that happen the next day here on campus. So that's been a wonderful opportunity for the students to do that. This is who's employing our students, who's hired in our past 5 years or so, and see some of the big names, Kiewit and Burns and McDonald and Nucor have definitely grabbed up a lot of our students and are doing wonderful things. Then it kind of trickles down, but we're placing students all over the US and beyond that are some of our graduates in our program here. So lots of opportunities, and there's a lot of new companies that have gotten on this list and contacted me looking for some of our graduates to come through. We are seeing a lot of students that have come in sticking around for the accelerated master's program in particular, so they can take up to 9 credit hours that can be dual counted to count at the undergraduate level and the graduate level, so they can finish up that master's degree non-thesis in about a year's time. And those are highly sought after students as well. But we had a lot of new companies come to our career fair, and I think they're going to be back in the spring as well, looking for our students. Our flow chart. So, we're all engineers. We like to put together flow charts. Many of you that have graduated more recently are quite familiar with these. May look kind of the same, but things have kind of changed as well. We've moved a couple things around. We've got some new changes that'll be happening this coming fall semester. So starting in 2022, the fall, we're going to be removing CAD and removing engineering survey. So, and we're going to be replacing those with Geomatics 1 and Geomatics 2 courses. One is going to be more computer-based, taking field data that's been collected and trying to use it, visualize, do the things with that. And then the other one I think is going to be in the fall semester, which would be a Geomatics 2, is going to be actually out in the field collecting information, collecting data, not just with the traditional surveying things that we've done that all of you have gone through, but actually using LiDAR, GPS, drone technologies to get that in. And that's really what the real world is using at this pace. So we're trying to kind of bring that into our curriculum as well. So we did a soft launch this fall with our surveying class using some new toys that we've bought. And we've got a new lab that I'll show you as well that's dedicated towards this. Also moved our construction engineering management course away from the last semester senior year all the way up to the sophomore year, so you can start learning about scheduling and process and projects and things like that more earlier in your career here at School of Mines, and then be able to use that as you move further on into the curriculum as we dive in. Still got our 3 out of 4 classes that we're choosing. Well, actually, your junior year, you're looking at the environmental hydrosystems or water resources, construction materials, structural class, geotech class, and then you can kind of pick where your passion is and picking 3 out of 4. And so we're keeping that as well. If we move on to the environmental engineering curriculum we have here, we just got approved 2 weeks ago. We're moving towards a specialization of environmental engineering that will actually show up on the degree program that's or the diploma that's there instead of the environmental minor or taking this curriculum that's there. And we do use a lot of chemical engineering classes and chemistry classes in that. So our this is more chemistry based, whereas the previous curriculum, which is here, is more physics based in this line. So we've got, our traditional classes. We've got some new environmental hires that have been brought on board that are teaching a number of these environmental classes that are on here. These students are all getting well placed in the job market. And then our enrollments. So that's kind of a big thing. This is I get weekly spreadsheets of our students as they come in, and this is our whole institution. So we got all the different majors. We got fall 2019, 2020, 2021. This was at the starts, and the departments that are really booming at the moment seem to be mechanical, biomedical engineering, BMIT, as well as a new program that's kind of engineering technology related. And civil, we're kind of holding our own here. So we had a kind of ramping up, although not back to the heydays of about 5 years ago when we had about 60 students, I guess, at the start that's on there. So we're doing pretty well. The freshman class was definitely up this year. We've got a whole lot of go-to-minds and departmental visits that are coming through. And so we're really excited about that. Our undergraduate class is currently at the second year, third year because of COVID challenges that we had, and enrollment challenges seem to be down about 10 to 20%, but it seems to be rebounding with a really robust freshman class. And looking into the fall of 2022, those numbers are even going up even more. So we're making some wholesale changes. Another big difference that we're seeing is a lot of undecided students are coming here to the South Dakota School of Mines, don't know what they want to do, and that number is really ramped up significantly. And we typically get about 10% of these students are going to come into the civil track, and so we do a lot of recruiting efforts to bring them on board. A lot of online marketing that we're doing. I think I'm paying about $4,000 through undergraduate marketing, social media opportunities to kind of showcase the great things that we're doing in our department and all those great things that we're doing. So I came on board. I had my job interview. It seemed like back March of 2020 when I was here, right before things went south with COVID. And, for a while there, this is a kind of a slide from my job interview here. And there's some strategic initiatives of what we can do in our department to make us stronger and better, and so we were doing pretty well. Although in some ways we were kind of a sinking ship in some ways. And so Scott Kenner was on board and did some really good things to kind of bring us back up here, increase the morale, look at student retention, faculty retention. And now we're trying to turn ourselves into a kind of a speeder that's on here. So we're trying to make some significant changes to kind of increase student and faculty retention that's on here, and really provide a degree that employers want in the degree program. And so, but we're all working together in here. And so I put together a whole series of short-term and long-term initiatives before I retire, here to get things done. And so we're trying to make ourselves the regional powerhouse with civil and environmental engineering here. And I think we're doing a great job with that, with some great faculty that we have here. So some strategic initiatives that I put into place. This was our academic year 21. This was the COVID year where quite a few of our larger classes were online on Zoom and whatnot. And I think we really did a good job with that. Had to get my faculty line replacements and find out, hey, do we want an environmental person? Do we want a transportation person? Where do we want to go with that? Maybe a structures person. And then we're trying to reimagine our first and second year courses. And this is where that Geomatics 1 and 2 kind of came into place. And we've been working on getting a new lecturer. Second and third floor lab remodels. So none of you will recognize what the labs look like now. And I got some pictures I'll show you here pretty soon. But all of our labs as of August of this year are completely remodeled and have some new spaces as well. So it's been wonderful to have that. Got the 310 remodel expansion, trying to make more active learning labs and spaces that are there. Also focusing on a building remodel, although that's going to be more of a long-term goal before I retire here, whenever that may be. Hopefully in 10 years or so, we'd have a new building that would be in place for civil mechanical. Our PhD program is growing leaps and bounds. We have about 20 PhD students at the moment in our department. And so there's some significant interest, and they're all getting just snatched up with mainly with industry jobs, government jobs. So it's been quite amazing to see that grow. And then our accelerated master's program as well is just growing tremendously, and we're trying to provide some online opportunities for these classes. So students maybe that have some opportunities to go to work before they finish their graduate degree can take the classes online synchronously with students that would be there in place. So we've got those technologies now to do that. And then working on the construction engineering management program as well, and trying to grow and strengthen that. And the last one, which is kind of a grand challenge, is looking at re-envisioning what civil and environmental engineering is. What is that? What is it gonna, what's the role or the model of that as we look forward to where we want to go with civil and environmental engineering? We got a really nice endowment, the Goodman Endowment that was given to us. Willard Goodman was a graduate of our program, passed away in 2013, and his wife passed away in 2019, and they bequeathed $3.6 million to our department. And so we've kind of taken that money and done some housekeeping things with it, got an endowment that's going to pay, a decent amount of money back to the department. We're using that for undergraduate scholarships, a good chunk of that, about a third of it, and that goes straight to the undergraduate students as part of the recruiting tools to keep and maintain them as they come here to mines. Looking at PhD stipends, we've got faculty student activities as well, and really trying to grow that there. And then we used a good part of that money to redo our labs as well, and I'll show you some pictures of what that is. But yeah, we're doing really well financially. I guess I've been here in the department for about 19 years, and I know we had some lean times for quite a while, but things are looking really good now. So here's a tour. So I wish I could just pick up my computer and just kind of walk around and show you all these spaces on there, but we'll just look at them pictures here. So our environmental lab is down here in the first floor of our building. We remodeled that 2 summers ago. That needed some significant updates in there. And so we've got all new space, new cabinetry that's on there. Everything's all kind of aesthetically pleasing. This is an old back lab that we're taking some supplemental funding to remodel that here shortly. We've got some new environmental hires that have been brought on board that need some research space, and we have some unbelievably productive researchers in our department. So it's been there's been a challenge trying to find spaces for all those folks to work there. Then we've got the Geotech and Materials Lab. So the Rama labs and the Geotech lab, you don't even recognize these anymore. So this is the Geotech lab here on the upper left side here. So we've got working lab benches, displays, whiteboards that are here. We've got a dirty room that's all the way in the back. So historically, many of you probably took the Geotech classes and used the rotary shaker that would be in there in the room, and dust would just be flying all over the place. Those days are over. We've got a dedicated space all the way in the back in a sealed room that's got that. And so lab benches that are there and whatnot. I think there's a group of students in there right now this morning taking a lab that are there. So this is a great space. And then behind this partition is some storage, and then some research space for some of our faculty members with what they're doing. Then we've got the materials lab that's here. So looks a lot different than maybe when you were in there. So we've got they're still mixing concrete, doing some things back here, doing some tensile material strength testing and whatnot. But we've got some benches that are here, some displays, some better organization that's in there. We've got a storage room that was back here that's been remodeled. So this room turned out really nice as well, with some storage lockers and whatnot. So looking at some sort of high bay, that's kind of the one thing that we're kind of missing here to do some real structural analysis type work. But I think this is definitely progress that we've been making here. And then the room that was off to the back, if you go through these doors here and walked into the back, this was for a few years our freshman lab space. This is now a research lab space that's more materials oriented, but it's our kind of our overflow research lab spaces that are on there. And so we've got a whole bunch of bench spaces and whatnot. And we've got some significantly active research faculty members and lots of students that are working in these areas here. And then we've got some other remodels as well. So where the old surveying lab was, we've converted that into our freshman / geomatics area. And this is also part of a water resources area in an integrated lab that's going to spill over to the side here. So we've got some partitions that are on here. This is actually a sealed up new room that we created. Got some, storing a lot of our drones and surveying equipment that are in here, and got some displays, so lots of working space. And we're a freshman class, so we just have enough room to fit the 50, well, actually 25 students that would be in this space here. So we may need to actually look at more lab sections that are on there as well. And this was a picture of our freshman class about a month ago. They were doing some water resources that come in, set up the flume, and kind of showing them the different types of processes that they have in there to work with. So it was kind of cool to see that working there. Then we've got some new student spaces. So this is kind of an area this room right here, and I don't know, the students may have a name for this. I haven't seen it yet, but this is kind of the old water resources lab space up in the 3rd floor. I think it's room 307. We kind of converted this into a student lounge study space, and this space is heavily used. We also converted the offices that were right next to it into drop-in classrooms where the students can kind of meet in there. They're reservable. Got a bunch of display TVs. These are 55-inch monitors that they can wirelessly connect to. They can take their tablet PC and kind of share the screens on there. They can have meetings, interviews, things like that that are in there. So those rooms are also heavily used. And then this is the 3rd floor hallway. We still got some lockers, although those are coming out pretty soon. Got some kind of meeting spaces, some study spaces in between classes that are in here where they can kind of plug in and plug in charge their computers, hang out in between classes and whatnot. And then we got some new student cubicle spaces. This is for the graduate students that are here. These were just put in about a month ago, and they were on a shipping delay to get here to South Dakota, but they finally arrived. And so this is kind of some more modern furniture in those spaces. And we've got 2nd floor area and also 3rd floor area. I think this is 316. So there's been a whole lot of infrastructure stuff that we've been doing here in our department. It's been wonderful to see that. Kind of some future things that we're working on is kind of reorganizing and reutilizing the integrated lab space. So some of you may recognize this, although it's kind of unrecognizable at the moment. We're going to convert this into kind of water resources laboratory / research space that's on there. And this is kind of the area adjacent to the AMP lab and the, the new freshman space and where the old surveying space was as well. And so we're working on moving the welding stations over here. We just had the steel bridge team just knock out this closet. That was part of an outreach. I don't know if it was outreach or outrage activity that they were working on, and knocked down the walls, opened it up. It looks really nice now. Yeah, there's a little closet right here, and kind of reorganizing that, getting rid of a lot of things that are there. And this is going to be their own area for a lot of the welding and things that they're going to do for their steel bridge. And then kind of the grand thing here is working with mechanical engineering. So this is kind of unrecognizable for those of you that have left a while ago, but this mechanical kind of reclaimed this space that's in here in the integrated lab and turned it into a collaborative workspace. And so you can see kind of workspaces, benches that are here. I'm looking at the right side screen here. And the idea is to get this with a civil / mechanical bent to it. And so we would take over this entire space. We're working on funds to get AMP moved out. So they would move up into the new Ascent building that's behind campus here. And this whole area is going to be a student collaborative space for civil and mechanical students that would be on here. So kind of this new student lounge, so couches, collaborative workspace, whatnot. Because what we're seeing is a lot of companies really want, we don't want students that are segregated in there. We're trying to get them to work together amongst disciplines. So a lot of folks say it's like oil and water between oil and water that doesn't mix between mechanicals and civils. And I beg to differ in talking to a lot of industry and alumni and our advisory board. I think it's opposite of that. And so we're going to try to get a mixer environment here where the students can all work and do things together and have their collaborative study space. So this is a project that'll happen probably in the next year once we get AMP moved out, we're looking to kind of bring those back on board. So looking forward to seeing that. And then I think I talked about this before, our geomatics. We got our geomatics 1 and 2 sequences that are on here. One of them is going to be more computational based and kind of using the data that's collected and kind of doing some visualization tools. And then the other one's going to be, outdoors, and that's typically the best time outdoors is in the fall semester. So we're moving that over here. So the fall semester, that'd be UAV, LiDAR, GPS. We got some high dollar drones through some donations we got in our department that are really going to help out with this. And so we're really excited with this to bring this on board. This is kind of modernizing what the students are going to be doing in their work careers. And then, this is working with our advisory board. There's been a whole bunch of construction and opportunities, let's say, on Omaha Street and beyond here in Rapid City, I guess redoing the bridge. And we had one of our advisory board members that works with the South Dakota DOT take the students out and kind of look at all the different data opportunities and how they collect the data and kind of real world things. And so this is our current our surveying class, which is the geomatics class in the field earlier this semester. So quite exciting to see that happen there. Some strategic initiatives to wrap this up. What we're working on this academic year is kind of looking at the faculty teaching loads. And so trying to see as we're getting more and more research oriented, there are ways we can optimize and look at efficiently how we can do this. And so when I see the 2-2-2-1, that means 2 classes a semester 1 year, 2 classes 1 class in the other year. And so we're trying to find that balance between the teaching and the research things. And then looking at teaching rotations of classes, trying to optimize that. The big grand challenge here is the re-envisioning of what we're trying to do and trying to bring together our research opportunities to look at more collaborative things, big dollar things that can happen. I'm part of a large grant that was just awarded last week. I think it's a $1.8 million research grant that I'm sure there'll be some announcements here pretty soon from the National Science Foundation, looking at kind of new technologies for working with plastics in environmental systems. So it's going to be kind of neat with that. And there's quite a few civil faculty members involved with this. So that's one example of that. And then JEDI, so that'd be justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, trying to integrate that throughout our entire curriculum. So everything that we do in civil is going to be part of that process. So we're definitely trying to do that. And then another big thing that we're looking to do is bring in more problem-based learning case studies and try to spread that throughout the entire curriculum. So we're trying to, instead of just having capstone design, which I'm teaching and Mark Robinson's teaching on a regular basis, why not have a sophomore design class and a junior design class and the senior design class that kind of build upon each other? And so you can actually put skills into practice and work on real type of projects. And so we're looking at some funding opportunities. We've got a retreat at the end of this next week, at the end of our fall semester. We're going to dive deep as the faculty to kind of lay this out and see how we want to break this up. And I've got kind of an example here is Clemson University, has done something like this where they have kind of a keystone. And so they've got an arch, just like of our arch that's right over here on campus, that's kind of all cobbled together to make that freestanding that's on here. And so kind of putting in design throughout the entire curriculum, and then that keystone class, I come from Pennsylvania in some ways, so the keystone part that's there just kind of resonates with me, is kind of represents the culminative design experience. But we're trying to get that design throughout the entire curriculum, even at the freshman level as well. And so I think that's going to get our students to do something quite extraordinary as they come out with their degrees here and move in. So looking at trying to model something similar to what Clemson University has done in some of the NSF RED, reimagining what the engineering discipline is. So that's really what's going on in our department here in civil and environmental here at the South Dakota School of Mines. So I'd be happy to, open up some chat or anything, or answer some questions you might have, those of you that are out here in the audience, and see what's on your mind. So how are things going?
Yes, so if you have any questions, I'll watch for them. You can put them in the Q&A or the chat function. We'll watch for those. So thank you, Dr. Stone, and thanks for bringing some students on.
Yeah,
Interesting to hear from them.
Students are pretty excited.
So April 8th and 9th, though, that's their regional.
Yeah, so I think the ASC regionals are in the Rocky Mountain region, and that typically includes schools in Wyoming, Colorado, I think New Mexico. I think they just realigned. They had a realignment. We don't do anything with SDSU on the other side of the state. They're in a different region, but regionals will be down at the Colorado School of Mines. So down in Golden, Colorado, looks like that April 8th and 9th would be. And so all things are, we're all hopeful that it'll all be in person. So this is
Nice. Okay, I wrote that down, so I'll look more into it too, especially if it's down in Colorado. Another question I have, if alumni want to get involved with their giving back their time and talent, what would be some things that maybe you could see them doing, or how they could get in touch with you to help do that? If you
so we're always looking for helpers. Maybe it's kind of visiting with our students in the classroom. So we've since I've been department head, I've really made an effort to kind of connect with some of our employers, and especially some of the local ones. But now with Zoom, we can have you in the classroom regardless of where you are. And so this really works well to get students, they kind of see a real world perspective. And this is really helpful with the freshman class, because they're still, moldable, let's say, and they're still excited. They want to see what is this degree going to do. And so we brought in a whole lot of guest speakers. Just recently we had Q had come in, that they're working up at the Homestake mine at the Dussel Underground, or I forget what it's called now, the Sanford Lab. That's what it is. And so they're in charge of the construction of the infrastructure, the research infrastructure down at the lower levels. And so some recent grads here in civil and environmental, so they came in, took a day or took a morning, drove down from Lead, came on over and visited with our undergraduate students in the freshman class, and kind of talked about what their projects entail, how their studies went, and things like that. And so, yeah, if we have alumni that want to kind of connect, maybe just follow up with me, and I'd love to get you involved and get you connected with our students, and kind of tell them about what you're working on, tell them about what you do, what inspired you to go the pathway you did, so they can learn from what you've done.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a quiet group today. You must have answered all their questions, which is good. It's good. So,
well, we've got a lot of good things that are going here. So we're definitely making some changes in our curriculum, trying to modernize what we're doing. Got some hugely research active faculty members, and we've kind of, we've got a lot of folks that are here, that are staying here. So it's quite exciting. So this is exciting times, and we've got, as a faculty member, I really didn't know this. I didn't see like department or course evaluations and things like that, but we have some unbelievable faculty members in the classroom. So that as I look at the student evaluations, the feedbacks, the small group diagnostics that I do as department heads to kind of look at the faculty members, we have some unbelievable faculty members. I mean, it's amazing, and then I'm sure many of you know that, or have seen as graduates in here, we typically hire some people that have some practical experience, and so they're bringing that into the classroom. I think an example could be Brett Lingwall. It's a hire from about 5 or 6 years ago in geotechnical engineering, and so he's got a whole lot of consulting experience he's bringing into the classroom, big projects he's done in Utah, and then he's actually bringing that in and getting the students the skills to be exposed to these types of projects. And so it's been great.
Jerry Bullinger says, I may have missed it, but how has enrollment in civil and environmental changed over the last 5 to 10 years?
Okay, so yeah, civil and environmental last 5 to 10 years. So I'd say 10 years ago, we were pretty low. And then about 8 years ago, something happened and we got this huge balloon of students interested in. This was across the board enrollment here at the School of Mines. It really went up. And I remember my environmental engineering class had almost 70, I think 80 students in it, which is a required class for our junior students. And that got to be pretty big. And so it's kind of gone down a little bit. I think we've stabilized the COVID trends. COVID challenges that the universities had. So we're getting, I think right now we have about 200 undergraduate students in our program at the moment. We were up to about 250 for a while. And 200 is a nice, good number with the faculty resources we have, although we're trying to grow that a little bit more and then actually bring in some faculty resources, some professors of practices that could be more teaching oriented that are there. But what really sets us apart from a lot of other schools that we at least meet with students with is, it's really us, the faculty, that are in the classroom. So that, and we've maintained that tradition for a long time. You're not seeing that at Nebraska, Lincoln, and some of the other schools that I'm quite familiar with. But enrollment looks good, and with our current, I guess we've had a huge number of prospective student visits that have come. In our Go to Minds events, the one that we just had last month was one of the biggest ones they've ever had. So it's the enrollment's looking good. So if we get up to the 250 undergraduate level, I'd be fine with that. If we get any higher, we're going to need some more resources. But things are looking really good, and there's some huge opportunities at the moment for our students. So.
Good. Yeah. Oh. Doesn't the infrastructure legislation portend, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, portend a big need for civil?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I've been working with our marketing office. We were kind of on hold to get some things out to market that because it was still being debated at the federal level as to what's going to happen. But yeah, that just passed. What was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, signed into order. And so my conversations with some employers at the recent career fair is this has been ongoing for a while. They said if this thing gets passed, they don't know how they're going to get the manpower to do these types of projects that are going to be funded to do that. And so the students, the way I describe it to our students, is they're going to be in the golden period of civil and environmental. So the students that are potentially coming here and currently in our program are going to be in the period similar to back in the 1950s and 60s when the federal highway, the interstate system was built, for example. Back in that period, it was just the golden period. So I think there's going to be another renaissance period for our students. And so I've been telling them this, that they're going to be part of this new wave of rebuilding, I guess, tomorrow's America. And so that's the big push there. And so we're preparing, and we're well aware of this, and the students are well aware of it, and employers are well aware of it. So it's we just need to market this a bit more. So I'm working with our marketing folks to do that. But there's going to be some unbelievable opportunities. Is the department looking, I can't see the whole question on there.
It says, it says, is the department looking for someone to teach about highway design or traffic analysis for the transportation professor position?
Yeah, that would be, transportation is a bit, there's a lot of different areas we can go in, but I think it's going to be highway design, traffic analysis. That would definitely be what we're trying to look for. And it seems like about 20% of our students as they graduate from our department go on to do something related to highway traffic design or whatever it may be. And so there's just a market. And I've been working with President Rankin and the provost to kind of prioritize that and see if we can get a faculty line to do that. Because I think that's the one skill set that we're missing in our faculty lineup is that. And so I think that would be the area. It's, we've had a debate and discussions in our department as to what that area would be, but it looks like the smart technologies and things like that. And this, what you're mentioning there, Jesse, is that would be right in line with what we're trying to do. I can't remember if there was a traffic person here when Civil 14. Yeah, we didn't have a transportation person at that time too.
Good question.
Yeah, so this is great times for us. So we're excited. I think the grand challenge is to try to see if we can look at fundraising opportunities for maybe a new building. And there's some other priorities on campus at the moment, but we're trying to look to see what we can do to renovate, redo, look at the tomorrow's civil, I guess, infrastructure here. But our labs upgrades are unbelievable. So, I mean, the students, when they walked in there back in August, they were just like, whoa. Faculty, when they walk back there in August, they're just like, well, this is great. So that just transformed everything that we're doing. So it's, that used to be an eyesore for our department, and many of you, just about all of you have kind of been through that. And so we've definitely modernized our infrastructure. It's on there. So it's been unbelievable to have that. Yeah, the labs were in dire need.
And I'm sure if they are in town and would like to visit, they can come to the building and walk around and see the labs.
Yep, you can definitely do that. So we get a lot of folks that just drop on in and be happy to show you around, or see John Mason up front, or Forrest Cooper and whatnot. We can definitely give tours with that. Yeah, so when you are in town, or kind of come maybe during the summer visits or whenever it may be, just drop a line. Get folks, especially those that are looking for students, the best way to connect with students is maybe guest lecture in a class if you're looking to employ some of our students. So we've had those opportunities as well for folks that come in. Had somebody from Brookings, a structural engineering firm out of Brookings here in South Dakota, came by just recently and visited with our students. And some of the bigger firms are kind of on our normal rotation, where they come in and visit and kind of recruit and just get them known. So it's worked out really well. And if you've got capstone design projects, myself and Mark Robinson always looking for opportunities. There's one just recently came to our attention that the city of Chamberlain, that back where it crosses the Missouri River, has got these old bridge piers or bridge structures that cross Lake Oahe or the Missouri River right there. I saw some pictures of it, and they want to turn that into a fishing pier and a hiking trail, I guess a trail network that will go around Chamberlain that's there. And so we're going to have our capstone student design, our students looking at that this coming session to do that. One of the projects that's going on right now is the rocker trails. So those of you that maybe, if I look out my window, the old hillsides that are on the side there, we've got a bunch of recreation trails that were just cut in about 2 weeks ago. That was from a capstone design project design. And I've got a group of students that are designing a bridge that's going to be using Nucor donated steel, and that should be erected this spring as well. So that's going to go over a ravine that's up by the practice fields on the other side, kind of by the intramural fields that are up there. And so, yeah, the trails, they were just put in about 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of hiking, biking, running trails that go all along the hillsides around, even over to the stadium. And those are unbelievable. So yeah, it's a pretty cool. And that's all from capstone design like projects that my students have been working on. Oh, telecourse at SDSU. Yeah, it's difficulties grading. Yep. So, but you did take it, so that's good. So we normally have Brett Lingwald's been teaching our kind of transportation course, and he's going on leave for the spring semester, and so we're looking at alternatives for the spring. But I think we got a plan for that. But we need a real faculty member. Brett's real as well, but a real transportation faculty member that can provide that, and also look at research opportunities. So that's where we're headed.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, if you guys think, again, if you think of anything else, please feel free to pop them in the chat. We're doing in the third Thursday of every month, we do a digital lunch and learn event. And this month we are featuring Dr. Ike, and if I pronounced it wrong,
Ilke Selick. Yeah, that's right. She's doing it. Yep. So Ilke, Ilke is a new sustainable engineering hire. So she was brought on board. This is starting her second year here in our department. And she kind of teaches our sustainable engineering junior level course. Yeah. And then her research expertise is on solar technology. Yeah. So, and kind of the life cycle assessment or carbon footprint of those technologies. And so that must be her lunch and learn must be on that.
Yep. She called it energy for sustainability.
Perfect.
What she called it. So 11 a.m. So this kind of fits in. But yeah, feel free to register. I popped the Zoom link, registration link for that in the chat. So we appreciate to have you. We are working on events for 2022, kind of charting them all out. So please watch our Facebook page and the newsletters that come out and emails. I'll try to keep everyone up to date, but so far we're getting the first quarter of the year plan, working on anything. And also if there's any topics you'd like us to cover that you'd like to see or know more information about, I dropped a survey link in the chat, or you can just email me. We'd love to, we're always looking for topics to cover, and then we get some research done and get some presenters. And another big project that the Alumni Relations Office is working on is called, we're doing a postcard writing campaign. And this is for the incoming freshman class. Our goal is to write 1,000 postcards. I say goal is to have alumni write 1,000 postcards total, and they will be mailed to the incoming freshmen. So if this is something you're interested in doing, just send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. I will mail you the postcards, and I will mail you a prepaid postage envelope to send them back. The average person does anywhere from 20 to 25. Some people write the same message, some people write different messages, but it's really to reflect about your time on campus. But it's a really good project, and the students really love getting a note from an alumni sent right to their mailbox, and the parents really appreciate it too. So if that's something you're interested, I believe end of the year, probably end of January is when we'd like them back. So we'd love to have you help. Yes, my little shameless plug there on what's going on, but I appreciate it. So,
well, exciting times here in our department. So it's yeah, and it's good to see and hear from some folks that more long-term grads from long ago and more recent grads as well. So
yeah.
Be in touch. Yeah. And with if you want to get in the classroom, talk about experiences, we got Zoom, we can get you plugged in. Every classroom's got the capability now. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone, and have a great day. Enjoy the nice weather. Hopefully if it's snowing, raining, wherever you're at, right now it's calm, so that's okay for us. But
yeah, we could use the moisture here. So it's been pretty dry.
Yeah, we could use the moisture, but it's a good time to visit. And then graduation is in a couple weeks. So the fall graduation will be December 18th. And we have 140 grads graduating this year. So it's really exciting to be back in person the second time. So nice to celebrate them. Also preparing for that. So, well, thank you everyone. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.